Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time of day you may be tuning in. You're all very welcome. My name is Martin Whyte. I'm a permanent deacon in Down in Connor. I'm based in St Peter's Parish, and I've been asked by Father Martin, our parish priest of St John's here, if I'd share a thought for the day with you. And I suppose the thing that really strikes me today is that this is St John's Parish we're in. And when the church, and by that we really mean God's people and his children, choose someone to be a saint, it is because of their life and how it reflects their close understanding of and relationship with God. We often think it's because of great miracles or great things they did, but these are secondary things which come from their relationship. When we look at the calling of Matthew or even Mark's account of how John was called, Jesus calls them, it says, as soon as Jesus saw them, he called them, and they leave everything and follow him. Now, isn't that amazing to meet someone, a total stranger, and leave everything to be with them? So this meeting with Jesus is something extraordinary. It means out of the ordinary and must fulfill something deep and meaningful that is missing and which, once found, they do not want to be separated from ever. And of course, there is only one thing that fits that description: love. Interesting too, it is St John himself who explains this in his first letter when he says, God is love, and whoever lives in love lives in God, and God lives in them. St John the Evangelist is traditionally held to be the youngest of the apostles and the one closest to Jesus. At the Last Supper, he lies on the couch they all would have eaten from, leaning up against Jesus. He is the one who stands with Mary at the foot of the cross, and it is John that is asked to take care of Mary when Jesus in his dying moments says, Woman, this is your son. And then to John he says, This is your mother. It is John who raises the tomb on Easter Sunday when he hears from Mary Magdalene that Jesus has risen. But arriving first, he does not go in, but waits for Peter to go first. In all the Gospels, John is like that. He was always present, but not in an upfront way. He was always there near Jesus and quietly central to what is going on. When the church chooses a saint, it is primarily because of their relationship, but also because they have something to show us or share with us. I remember a friend saying that a saint is someone who gets God right. And so they show us how to do it ourselves and get God right in our lives. We live at the moment in an extraordinary time that none of us have ever experienced before, and we're having to deal with things in a way that we've never had to before. This can be a challenge and a bit confusing. For some, it is very hard being at home, whether it leaves us alone, stuck inside with young children, or unable to go to our school friends, or visit close family members. In other ways, we cannot get to Mass, receive Holy Communion, though we can see Mass on the internet and make spiritual communions. We may not be able to get confession. If we're in primary school, we may not have our first Holy Communion, our first confession, our confirmation. If in secondary school, we may have concerns about our exam results. Where will we be going next year? We may be concerned about our income. When can we get back to work? When can we get married? When will normality resume? I think if John were advising us today, he would say, stay close to Jesus. Stay close to our Mother Mary. At the end of his gospel, Jesus is walking along the shore of Lake Galilee, talking to Peter. He has just cooked them a breakfast of fish and bread on the shore for the apostles after a long night of fishing, and granted them a miraculous catch of 153 fish, so many the nets nearly break. And as he's walking, talking to Peter about the future, asking him to feed his sheep, and how he will have to go where he would not want to go, namely Rome. But look at the context of this. Jesus has just fed them all with a beautiful meal, filled their nets, and obviously it will be their purses too when they sell the fish, after they have spent a whole night and caught nothing themselves. John's message here is simple. It is, see how Jesus can take care of all our material, physical needs when we just trust him and do what he says. And how does John know this? Because he describes how he is walking along behind Jesus and Peter, letting them talk, not butting in or interrupting, not eavesdropping, but just being there. This thought for the day is for the 13th of May, the anniversary of the first apparition of Our Lady to the three children of Fatima in 1917. One of the questions about John that Peter asks is what about him, Lord? In other words, what will happen to John? And Jesus answers, if I want him to stay behind until I come, what does it matter to you? You are to follow me. One of the big emphases at the Second Vatican Council was what is called the universal call to holiness, meaning every single one of us, by our baptism, are called to be saints. To put it simply, we are called to have that special relationship with Jesus, to know that we are loved unconditionally, eternally, and without reservations at all. To find this out is the start of everything and what motivated John. What we are to do is just stay close to Jesus, and as he told Peter, you are to follow me. At Fatima, one of the things Our Lady asked for to prevent war and bring peace was that we simply offer up our daily work. In that way, the whole world will be changed. All we have to do is stay close to Jesus, and if we do what Our Lady told the servants at Cana in Galilee, do whatever he tells you, then Jesus will turn the water of our lives to the wine of joy and peace. To heal St John's parish, to heal our city, to heal our world, all we have to do is stay close and remember God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God lives in them. In all of this, Jesus asks of us, as he did of John, follow me. Just be there. Thank you for listening.